do, Dream Team? It's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with Australia's most underestimated threat. We are back with the Chaotic Traveler. I know y'all absolutely love this guy, and I'm absolutely loving his videos. So let's see what we got with this one.
The lesson learned from the story that I'm about to tell you might save your life.
Talk
or a
to
lot
me.
of your money. Preferably your life, though. And no, it does not have anything to do with animals, as you might be assuming. I flew to Sydney on a work and holiday visa in October 22. Bought a car for about $2,500, which was most of the money that I had.
Not bad.
A 2001 Hyundai Elantra station wagon, and made my way to a farm by a town called Grafton in New South Wales, because I had gotten a job as a zucchini picker there. I had an amazing time on the farm, stayed there for about 3 months, and didn't make bad money at all. With the money I made, I bought a King's pop-up rooftop tent, which was one of the worst decisions I've made in Australia, but that's a story for another time.
Also, that tent looked like a nice tent to me. I was like, oh, that looked dope. But I guess bad decision, so I guess it wasn't that dope. So
one of the worst decisions I've made in Australia, but that's a story for another time. Also, I bought heaps of other camping stuff: fridge, battery, and whatnot. I finished working on the farm, and I was super excited to finally go out there and explore Australia. Up until this point, I hadn't seen anything of Australia apart from the farm and 2 weeks of Sydney. I left the farm and set sail towards a town called Binjara, where I was going to camp for the first time. Not only in Australia, but for the first time in my life. The drive there was terrifying because I completely forgot to consider the weight that I was going to load onto my car. The more I jammed in there, the lower it got. Lower and lower. Whenever the street was uneven, the exhaust would scratch the asphalt. By the time I arrived in Binjara, my car already sounded like a Ferrari because the muffler had a hole in it already. However, I was still super excited to sleep in the Australian wilderness for the first time. So I set up my camp in a shady spot, popped my rooftop tent, got the table and all out. I was enjoying my time, sitting in my chair, reading my book, and being generally proud of myself for being here. When I like
that. What's it?
A freaking massive branch from a gum tree came down and smashed 1 meter next to where I sat, or where I would have slept that night, onto the ground. This branch could have killed. Also,
I swear to you, bro, nah. That's when you look up and you like, thank you for looking out for me. That could have been me. If that branch waited a couple more hours, that's where my tent would have been set up. That's where I would have been sleeping. And that would have been the end of me. So thank you. You feel me? Because that's so amazing that he was not in that spot in that moment that this branch fell. Like you said, that could have been wraps for him. That could have been the end of him. And that would have been very sad and tragic, dog. Thank you for falling early, bro.
Or where I would have slept that night, onto the ground. This branch could have killed or severely injured me. I packed up all of my stuff and moved away from the tree. I did some research after I moved myself to safety, and a lot of camping websites just advise you not to camp under trees, especially not under gum trees, because they can lose their limbs without any warning. Under certain circumstances such as wind and rain, they're obviously more likely to fall off. And for the rest of my trip, I was making sure that I would park my car outside the danger zone and just try to keep myself away from gum trees in general. Never would I have considered a falling branch to be an actual threat. I mean, these trees have been standing there for how many years? And exactly that tree is supposed to lose a limb at exactly that time while I'm under it. I mean, what are the odds?
Oh, everything, bro. Yeah, them odds are probably very slim to none. And I guess I'm not a camper, so I don't do camping. I don't like sleeping outside. I'm not with it. But if I was, I guess that would be one of the last things that I thought of if I did plan a trip, would be like, hey, don't plan to sleep under like trees or anything, because the branches may just fall off at any given point in time with no warning or anything. Just fall, collapse on you. You're dead. I'm very glad that he figured out without having to lose his life. That he figured this out without having to lose his life. That's very amazing. Did his research, said, you know what? Staying away from trees from now on. Trees are a no-go.
At exactly that time while I'm under it, I mean, what are the odds? But
Facts.
I was enlightened.
A woman has been killed and a child is in hospital with critical injuries after a gum tree crashed onto a family car at Fernshaw in Victoria.
South Australian man is lucky to be...
Jesus! That tree was huge. It absolutely decimated that car. That's scary.
alive after a large gum tree came crashing down onto his home overnight. The branches narrowly missed him as he slept inside.
We begin with the tragic death of a young...
this come on, Australia. You got to watch out for the trees now. Because these trees liable to lose their limbs at any given point without warning. Now we got to... Oh, Australia, man. I love y'all. But y'all something else out there, Australia. Y'all... trees.
Young woman crushed by a tree in a freak accident in the North Adelaide parklands.
The victim, believed to be
There's been an unbelievable tragedy in Victoria. A man and a boy have been killed after a gum tree fell on their moving car east of Melbourne. A 46-year-old man and the 10-year-old boy were driving in the Dandenong Ranges when the tree crushed
And
their
as Libby
car
Becker
just after
reports,
5:30
another man was
PM
seriously
yesterday.
hurt when a tree came crashing down in Bright.
In 2019,
What on earth?
a list was published listing all fatalities related to accidental tree failure in Australia, not including works done on trees or fire. From 2010 to 2019, a total of 47 deaths were reported on that list, not
From
including
trees falling.
injuries or damage done to property. In comparison to that, from 2010 till 2019, only 21 fatal shark attacks
That's
were reported.
crazy.
The Australian
legit
Bureau of
crazy.
Statistics has published a chart on deaths.
I've seen that. You're more likely to get killed by a tree, dog. It would be on this list. It would be in a number 3 spot, above hornets, wasps, bees, above sharks, above snakes, above crocs, above all this. You a tree. Jesus.
Related to animals in Australia between 2008 and 2017, listing horses, cows, and other farm-related animals, I suppose, as most lethal animals. Although I think most fatalities caused by them can be described as workplace accidents, making hornets, wasps, and bees, together with sharks and snakes, the most lethal feral animals, still killing fewer people than falling branches. So, is a
That's
falling branch
wild.
going to kill you? Probably not. Should you be aware of what's going on above you? Well, I certainly am. I've listed all the sources that I've used for my research in the description box down below if you want to do some research on your own. You would be doing me a massive favor if you considered subscribing to the channel if you liked the video. Apart from that, stay healthy, be happy, safe travels, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.
That's absolutely wild to me, man. That is an underestimated threat because I ain't never thought about that. That's all we got. Make sure y'all subscribe, ring notification bell, get the video a thumbs up. It's your boy Neal. Out.